good morning, team. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Tuesday, March 21st. I'm Amy Corr, and here I am with Kevin Van Neck, and we are at the Goose Island office. And so this morning, we have such a great topic. We're going to talk about creating or making sure you've got great brand ambassadors. So get ready for it. Fill her on up. Make sure you've got a warm cup of coffee, and let's jump into the next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
That's right. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday. We're going to talk about being a brand ambassador. Last week, we talked about how to be an influencer. Now we're going to talk about making your people influencers for your business. There's limited inventory, transactions are down. We know all that. We know what's happening in the market. So how can we make sure that we increase the number of opportunities we have by using our own people?
That's right. We want to make sure that people know about you and are referring people to you, right? That's what we're looking for. Let's fill our pipeline. So the first thing we want you to think about, though, is you all have great referral people. You've got past clients, friends, family who do love you, and they do want to help create success for you. But you've got to make it easy for them. And the best way to do that is to make sure, oftentimes we tell you to know your value proposition, right? What are the 3 things that I need to know about you that make you different and fabulous and somebody I've got to work with? Well, what you also need to think about is how can you get your best referrers to also know your value proposition. When they are at a party and somebody says to them, hey, we're thinking about buying or selling, you want to make sure that your referrer, that person who loves you, it makes it really easy for them to say, you know what, you've got to work with Kevin. And you don't want them to say, hey, you've got to work with Kevin because he's so great at what he does. That's great, but that's pretty basic. And so you want to make sure that they're able to say exactly why you're so great at what you do. So it's them knowing your value prop. So let's say Kevin's value prop is that he gets his listings under contract in 20 days or less, which beats out the market. Make sure that your referrers know that so that when they are at the party, they can say, you've got to work with Kevin because, God, he's amazing. And he gets all of the homes that he sells under contract in under 20 days. You also want to make sure maybe Kevin was an appraiser in his past life before he got into business. And that's one of his value propositions or value points. Again, Kevin wants to make sure that Amy at the party knows how to tell someone that, right? So you've also got to work with Kevin because before he got into real estate, he was an appraiser. So he does a really amazing job at taking a look at the values in the market, and he does some really great analysis. So you're in really great hands because he absolutely knows what the values need to be. See the difference between, wow, Kevin is a really great broker, you've got to work with him, to the 2 value points I was just able to articulate to somebody as his referring friend, past client. So think about that. You know what your value proposition is. How can you make sure that the people who are out there talking about you and helping you grow your business can also articulate those things that matter most about you and your business. So think about that, get them ready, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Totally. So much stronger, right? And thank you for the compliments.
You're welcome.
Such a great person. Okay. Number 2, let's go into really leveraging your people and recognizing them publicly for referring you. Now, there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's a terrible way to do this. So let's talk about...
Let's get to the right way.
Yeah,
then.
Let's focus on the right way. Well, actually, let's start on the one not to do. Number 1, you can't pay people for referrals. You can't send out gift cards. You can't offer a raffle. You can't do any of that. It's against license law in every state. You can't pay somebody to give you business. So let's steer clear of that. You want people to refer you because you are great at what you do and because you make them feel good. So let's talk about that. How do you make people feel good for referring you? Recognize them publicly, right? So the way to do that, the right way, the best way to do it is sincerely and authentically thanking them, not in a self-serving way. So how do we do this? Let's say that Amy referred me to Jim. So I say, of course, we can post all day on Instagram about our recent closing with Jim. It was so great working with Jim. Really grateful for him, etc. But you can also twist it. Maybe it's a different post, maybe it's a different message, email, e-blast, whatever, where you say, you know what, I'm really grateful for Amy. Amy referred me to Jim. I wish I could work with all of Amy's friends. She's fabulous. She's great human being, whatever it is, make Amy feel great because that's reinforcing that behavior more so than any incentive. I could give her a $25 Starbucks card, break license law, and that still wouldn't have the same impact as if I made her feel great publicly. So focus on that. Make your people feel great for referring you. And it not only makes Amy feel great when I recognize Amy, but all of her people and all of my people see that as well. So now they're seeing what happens when someone refers me.
I love that. It's like teaching people, oh my goodness, Kevin would probably love referrals because look at this Amy out there.
Yes.
Who's doing such a great job of referring. So really important because, we were talking about this offline, and I think we have a natural tendency to always focus on the people that we just help buy or sell. And when your client base sees that, they say, that's great, but I'm not in the market of buying or selling, so that doesn't resonate with me. But when you talk about the person who referred, as somebody watching that Facebook post, I can say, that is something that I can do.
Right.
And so that's the difference of focusing on the people who are helping to grow your business, because that's something anybody can do, whether they are in the market or not, to buy a home, right?
Yeah. And it makes you attractive because people are drawn to gratitude and positivity and all of that. So again, be very careful. Don't make it self-serving. Sometimes we twist things as agents because we know we're doing it for business. Don't do that. Be very careful with how you say it. It has to be authentic and genuine when you're actually recognizing someone for thinking of you.
Yeah, and I think less is more. Be authentic, be genuine, just state it. You don't have to go on to a, 10-hour story about why that person's wonderful. It's just the recognition can be short, direct, and very thoughtful.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah. All right, so the last point as it relates to your brand ambassadors is, let's say somebody does refer a client, a potential buyer or seller to you. One of the things that I don't think we always do a great enough job of is keeping that referring person in the loop on what's going on, because you might say thank you at the very beginning, acknowledge it and show your appreciation, but then you kind of cruise on down the road with that buyer or seller. Make sure to check in with that referrer. Make sure you say, hey, listen, God, we've been looking for the last 3 weeks. We saw some really great properties. We haven't found the one yet, but, I'm really enjoying working with, Bob and Susie, and I'll keep you posted once we do find that great home for them. And then once you find the great home, let that referrer know, and then keep them posted. Again, hey, we just passed inspection. We just, appraisal checked out great. Our closing is teed up for April 15th. We're super excited. And then again, once they close, because that allows the referrer to also make sure that they can engage and have a conversation with the client that you're working with. So don't just do it at the front end and, thank and let them know, hey, I've got this. Make sure you keep that referrer in the loop the whole time. They stay connected, but they also see how you work. And that's really critical, because when we go back to that value proposition piece, when you want your brand ambassadors to refer more business, if they're watching how you create a great experience for people they know, they're going to be able to articulate that as part of why everyone has to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And trust, right? If you ever put your stamp of approval, have you ever hesitated on putting your stamp of approval on something? Someone asked for a referral for a service or business, and you're not sure, why wouldn't you want to do it? Because you don't trust that they're going to give great service. You want your referral sources to trust that you are going to take care of the people that they send to you. That's one way to do it.
Absolutely.
It's great. I love that.
Yeah, so we hope that these 3 tips were super, super helpful.
Super.
We both are having such trouble talking today.
Articulate.
Super helpful. And we know right now it's really important to deepen those relationships and get people to help develop your pipeline. So try these out. Let us know how they go. Make it a great Tuesday. And until we see you next week, remember, you got this.